What's the difference between an expression and an equation? Understanding the difference between these two are very important as we get into algebra, because many problems and questions come up asking about that very thing. Questions like simplify this expression or solve this equation. And if you don't understand the vocabulary, that alone will be a handicap and trip you up. So let's try to understand this. First, let's start by asking the question, do you know the difference between a phrase and a sentence? If you do, it really helps in understanding the difference between an expression and an equation. Here's some examples. A phrase are like the following. The sum of 3 and 5, the difference of n and 1, the product of 6 and 7, the quotient of x and y. What do you notice that's similar about all these phrases? Well, all these phrases are lacking a verb. So they have some part where they're discussing something, but there's no verb in it. It's just simply giving us some information, but it's not a full sentence. So we call it a phrase. Well, that's equivalent to an expression. 3 plus 5, n minus 1, 6 times 7, x divided by y. These are just expressions mathematically and phrases if you want to look at it in English or literature. How would it become an equation? So what could happen to make this an equation? For an equation, you're going to see the following. What do you notice is the difference? The equal sign. And it makes sense, right? Because the equation equal. So every equation has an equal sign. Here's our equal sign, here. And if you were looking at a sentence, guess what it does have? It has a verb. So it has this is equal, it equals, the product in 6 and 7 is, x is, y plus 9 is equal. So it has that part of the sentence that's giving you the verb part as well. So it's a complete sentence having a subject and a verb. So that's the main difference between an expression and an equation. An equation simply has a equal sign when an expression does not. If you wanted to get even more detail, an expression has some variables, numbers, and symbols without an equation, while an equation has all those things but an equal sign separating the two entities. So hopefully that doesn't complicate it more, but that is the difference between an expression and an equation. Let's look at some examples. This 4 plus 5, equation or expression? Well, no equal sign, so we know that's an expression. Even if we continue to add more numbers here, as long as there's no equal sign, this is still considered an expression. It's only when I add this here that it now becomes an equation. So no matter what I put on this side, it's still now an equation. So know the difference between those as you take your test. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe to this channel. Thanks again. I'm Brandon, the Algebra Guy, and I'll see you next time.